CBS Sports takes over at 2 o'clock with final round coverage of the John Deere Classic. We're right here on Local 4. The man who is the brains behind the entire project is Mr. Lance Barrow. He is the coordinating producer for CBS Golf, NFL. He is Mr. CBS Sports. Earlier in the week, I had a chance to visit with him, and this gentleman has some stories. Well, this is terrific. I am with the coordinating producer of CBS Sports, Mr. Lance Barrow. Great to have you here, sir, and your entire team. Give us an idea what the project is like when you roll into a new town and get ready for a new tournament, and here we go for the John Deere Classic.
Well, I always say it's kind of like the circus comes to town. We set up the big tent, we tear it down at the end on Sunday. About 240 men and women. We were in Connecticut last week. All the trucks got here last night, and we're in the process of setting it up.
Give us an idea about today and the schedule and how you get things done, and it's got to be quite the undertaking.
Well, I can just kind of get out of the way. That our crew, our technical crew, sets up all the cameras, the audio, video, the trucks, the office. That will be an all-day affair starting early this morning when we started setting up the 18th tower, which is like a mini studio. And they will be doing that all day today. And most of the day tomorrow, and then we're on the air for Golf Channel on Thursday afternoon.
How much do you love golf and being able to do what you guys do, and you obviously do it very well?
Well, I mean, you know, you get to do exactly what you want to do. I feel very blessed that I have a chance to do that. I started thinking about doing this when I was in high school, and I've been at CBS now for 40 years, first starting working for Pat Summerall and then taking over golf a few years ago in football. If you have problem with this job, there's something wrong with you. It's not for everybody, but the people that we have here, it's a true passion.
Give us an idea about the day when you guys roll out here, get ready for the opening round, and on the weekend coverage, start, I'm sure, early and you end late.
Yeah, we start early and we end late on Thursday and Friday, and we will do it for CBS. Golf Channel will have their announcers. We're on the air till 7 o'clock local time for the Golf Channel. And then Saturday and Sunday, there will be CBS coverage from 2 to 5, which will go to about 210 countries around the world that will see the Quad Cities area, see the John Deere Classic. And it's amazing, all over the world where you go, people watch our golf and watch golf on TV. And so it's an amazing thing to think about. The Quad Cities has a major golf tournament for so long and how many years they've had it when you think about all the other big cities around the United States that don't have a PGA Tour event.
46th year the PGA has been good enough to come to the Quad Cities, and it really is an unbelievable week for all of us in the community to have this here. Tell us your impressions of coming here. I know you're on the board of the John Deere Classic, so this tournament must mean a little extra special to you.
Well, yeah, I mean, I say as a Texan, this is also home, and I always joke that any Texan that takes another place as their home is really something. But I love coming here. From the first day that I met Claire Peterson years ago at Colonial Country Club in Fort Worth, it's been a great friendship. And over the years, the chairman of John Deere, now Sam Allen, and his wife Marcia are great friends. And I always say it's kind of like coming back to a family reunion each year. Maybe you only see these people one time a year, but when you get back here, you just pick up where you left off the year ago, and that's what makes it so much fun. You build relationships over all these years, and you come back and you see people and you're involved with this event. You see what a tournament like this and what the charity part of what this tournament, the John Deere Company, does for this community and really outreach beyond this community for a whole year. It's a tremendous thing.
And as far as the golf, we have had some spectacular finishes here at the John Deere Classic, and you guys have been there every step of the way. It's got to be as thrilling to watch in the truck as for anybody running around the course.
Well, yeah, when your last 2 years, or last 2 of the last 3 years, you have a guy named Jordan Spieth wins the tournament, and, you know, always you have the support of Zach Johnson, Steve Stricker, great golfers like that. When you know, I did the Pro-Am draw last night with Claire Peterson, and you look at the board and you look at the players that Claire Peterson and his staff has assembled here. It's really a great golf tournament, and how fortunate this area is to have this golf tournament and have the players that come here each year. You know, and see what Jordan has done and see what other players has done. And the other thing is how much the forethought and how much they're in front of it by giving these kind of players like Jordan, now John Rahm, players like that who have had special exemptions when they were either still in college or about to turn pro or had just turned pro, and how they have gone on to be superstars on the PGA Tour. It's pretty amazing.
Take us into the truck, if you would. Say Saturday, 2 o'clock Central Time. You're coming on the air and kicking off 3 hours of great coverage. I'm sure the blood's pumping and you guys are all ready to go.
Well, you try to keep calm, but you know it's not. Like I always say to people, if you're not nervous, there's something wrong with you. But it's you know, what's great about this job is every day that you come to work, there's something new that's going to happen. And you're doing live TV, and you never know what's going to happen. It's kind of like walking on a tightrope without a net underneath you. The trucks that we have, these are the trucks that we built for football and golf. This truck did Super Bowl 50, and we'll do the John Deere Classic. About 200-something monitors in front of us. Like I said, the 240 men and women that will be either in the truck or out on the golf course covering this golf tournament. And so, yes, you all day long, the hardest part about it is not getting too tired before you come on the air, because the adrenaline is going and things are happening, and that's what's great about golf. Doing other sports, they kick off and then they'll end. Golf, something could be happening at 8 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, and by the time you come on the air, your storylines have gone out the window that you prepared, and now you got to get ready for something else.
I want to be like you when I grow up, because after PGA, you roll right into the NFL season. I mean, it's just got to be a fabulous endeavor to be able to do what you do.
Well, I've always said, and I've thought about it, for a kid who grew up on a dairy farm not far from Dallas-Fort Worth Airport, to have a dream to be able to do this. I just wanted to be a producer. And I didn't know when I walked out my junior year of college at Abilene Christian University and asked Chuck Will, who was the legendary Frank Chikinian's right-hand person, if I could work for CBS at the Colonial. And he put me on the tower with Pat Summerall, and that started my relationship with CBS Sports 40 years ago, to be standing here now and being able to do the John Deere Classic along with the Masters and the PGA Championship, the Memorial, the Colonial, the Byron Nelson, the World Series of Golf, the first round of the FedEx Cup events, and then just to do a few months ago Super Bowl 50. It's a truly blessing, and something that I never really, like Bubba Watson once said, my dreams didn't go that high. And to be able to do it now and be fortunate to work for a company like CBS Sports, I've been very blessed over all these years.
You've got some amazing talent. You've worked with Mr. Nance, Mr. McAtee, who will be here. But Mr. Summerall, your first start, give us a sort of a peek what that was like for you in your first time going into the tower with Mr. Pat Summerall.
Well, I was about 19, 20 years old. I just finished my junior year at Abilene Christian, and I'm sitting on the tower thinking about, I am working with Pat Summerall, and this was 1976. And sitting next to Pat Summerall was obviously the 1964 U.S. Open champion, Ken Venturi. And I remember when he walked up on the tower, he looked like a giant to me. And I said to him, I said, Mr. Summerall, I'm Lance Barrow. Is there anything you want to tell me, any advice you want to give me? And in that Pat Summerall voice, he said, don't get excited. Don't call me Mr. Summerall, and hand me a beer out of that cooler. And that was a 6-year relationship. And then to be able to say that I worked for Pat Summerall, but then more importantly at the end, to be able to say he was a close friend and a great advisor to me, that's the thing that means more than anything. Like Jim Nance, like Bill McAtee that you mentioned, the first day Chuck Will said to me walking out of that office at CBS, you're not going to meet a man like Pat Summerall in this business very often. And he was right, and that was 40 years ago. What a great gentleman, what a great person, not only to me, but anyone that ever met Pat Summerall. He was tremendous to them.
Thank you for sharing that story. That's tremendous. Finally, when you're here in the Quad Cities, any places you like to visit, or restaurants, or any things that you like to go to?
Well, there's a lot of things I like to go to. I mean, I come across that bridge because we're staying in Iowa, and my car wants to turn to Avenue of the Cities because of Whitey's ice cream. And then right across from there is a great Vietnamese restaurant called Pastor's. Obviously, Duck City we go to, and Dunn Brothers Coffee, which the former chairman of this tournament, Divot, had mentioned that I need to go to. So I go there every morning. They have my iced tea made for me, and they have great pastries and breakfast sandwiches. And, you know, like I said, you go to these places, you look forward to seeing those people. And it's amazing how many people know about places here in the Quad Cities, because not only myself but our whole crew, because we talk about it year round, about Whitey's ice creams and things like that. So it's like home week. It's like coming home.
That's awesome. What's the go-to at Whitey's? What do you like?
Somebody asked me that last night, and I change it up every time. Somebody asked me if I ever had a turtle sundae at Whitey's, and I looked at her and I went, I think I basically had everything. Back in my younger days, the Boston milkshake with a hot fudge sundae on top, I'm trying to stay away from those. But that used to be a go-to when I was a little bit younger.
Mr. Barrow, thank you so much for your time. Looking forward to a great week of golf here, and your work is really impressive with your entire team.
Well, thank you guys, and thank you all for making us feel so welcome here in the Quad Cities.